In 2055, a nuclear blast destroys Los Angeles, and AI is blamed. The U.S. military aims to eradicate AI to prevent further loss, conflicting with New Asia who views AI as citizens. This leads to launching USS NOMAD to find AI and the elusive creator, NOMAD. Fast forward 10 years, and we meet Sergeant Joshua Taylor, who resides in Koh Nong with his pregnant wife, Maya. While Joshua has a prosthetic arm and leg, it is Maya who possesses a deeper connection to the AI. One night, their home is unexpectedly visited by a group of droid officers led by Haroon, who bring a soldier into their dwelling. Privately, Joshua interrogates this soldier, only to discover that it is none other than his friend and commanding officer, Drew. Joshua, once a companion to Nirmada's daughter, is confronted with a harsh reality when external forces launch an attack. Discovering the truth about Joshua, Maya flees from him. Seeking refuge on a boat, tragedy strikes as an explosive, seemingly claiming her life while Joshua helplessly watches. Years pass, and Joshua finds himself at Ground Zero in Los Angeles, toiling away as part of a cleanup crew. During one of his routine patrols, he and his partner stumble upon a droid that still retains some semblance of sentience. They make the difficult decision to deactivate it, an act that Joshua's partner likens to ending a human suffering. Left alone, Joshua finds himself lost in memories of his time spent with Maya. Suddenly, General Andrews and Colonel Howell approach Joshua. They assert that they have gathered intelligence suggesting that Nirmada is currently engaged in the development of a formidable superweapon in New Asia, one that poses a grave threat to NOMAD. Consequently, they seek Joshua's assistance in thwarting their efforts. Initially hesitant, Joshua's resolve wavers when Howell presents a holographic video revealing that Maya is indeed alive and working at the very facility where the superweapon is being created. Reuniting with his wife was all Joshua wanted. To make that happen, he decided to accompany Howell and her crew on their journey to New Asia. Howell, who had her own personal grudge against AI after losing her sons in the war, shared her resentment with Joshua. The soldiers, filled with hostility, provoked the villagers before forcefully entering the lab and shooting at the technicians. Joshua, however, broke away from the team and stumbled upon a room where he discovered the weapon, a small robot girl engrossed in watching cartoons. Just as Joshua was about to apprehend her, a woman guarding the child opened fire at him and ordered the girl to flee. Chaos ensued as New Asia's forces engaged in a gunfight with NOMAD's mercenaries. Despite the chaos, Joshua managed to catch up to the girl and safely escorted her onto a boat to escape. Joshua and the girl found themselves in a desolate area near the lake, accompanied by a wounded soldier named Shipley, who sadly succumbed to his injuries. Inside a house, Joshua discovered the girl mesmerized by the TV, using her unique ability to control electronics from a distance. Noticing the Alpha Omega symbol engraved on her head, Joshua christened her Alfie. In contact with Howell, he received orders to bring the child to her. However, their encounter with an adult droid who was astounded by Alfie's presence disrupted their plans. The companion. In a desperate act of self-defense, the droid's attempt to retrieve a firearm results in Joshua shooting him. Unfortunately, this action brings the attention of other droids in the vicinity, who unleash a barrage of gunfire upon the house. In a swift escape, Joshua jumps into a van alongside Alfie, leaving the chaos behind them. Meanwhile, Howell and her subordinate, McBride, embark on their own journey in a van. They encounter a droid officer, whom they swiftly eliminate. Utilizing his lifeless body, they stumble upon Shipley's remains, which Joshua had previously disposed of. With limited time remaining, they manage to transfer Shipley's consciousness into the droid, hoping to gather crucial information about Joshua's whereabouts. Seeking refuge, Joshua and Alfie find themselves relying on the kindness of a family who offer them a ride. Under the cover of darkness, they come across a checkpoint, where Alfie unleashes her extraordinary powers, disabling the authorities' electronic devices. The situation quickly escalates, forcing Joshua to take control of the van as bullets rain down upon them. Despite the terror experienced by the accompanying family, they miraculously manage to evade capture. Determined to stay hidden, Joshua and Alfie opt for a train journey into the heart of the city, skillfully evading any potential detection. During their travels, Alfie curiously inquires about heaven, to which Joshua responds with a solemn admission that he believes only those who are truly virtuous can enter such a realm. Drew's perspective on the AI community has shifted, and he now collaborates with Joshua and Cammy to investigate the potential of Alfie. It is discovered that Alfie's capabilities are not yet fully realized, as she possesses the ability to control any technological device from any location on the planet, making her the most powerful entity. A sudden knock interrupts their plans when Cammy orders ice cream for Alfie, but to their horror, it turns out to be a bomb that claims Cammy's life. The new Asian authorities begin to attack the group, but Joshua manages to deactivate the droid officers before they can harm Alfie. Howell and McBride join the fray, and the onslaught continues. Drew suffers a severe injury, but in his final moments, he aids Joshua in locating Maya's beacon and reveals that Maya herself is near Mata. With this knowledge, Joshua and Alfie attempt to escape, but they are apprehended by a squad of soldiers led by Haroon. Joshua regains consciousness aboard a ship, confined within a cell. Maya assumed the role of Nirmata following her father's death. Despite his assurance that AI would never pose a threat to humanity, Haroon refuses to bring Joshua to Nirmata. Meanwhile, the AI grow increasingly anxious as they realize they are being pursued. In a desperate bid for escape, Joshua manages to break free from his confinement but is met with gunfire, compelling him to leap into the water and cling to the ship's hull. Upon the ship's arrival at a nearby village, Joshua stealthily makes his way to locate and rescue Alfie. Suddenly, Howell and her troops launch an assault on the village, employing colossal machines and a suicide bomb robot that charges towards the settlement to detonate. Another suicide robot races across the bridge, but Alfie steps in its path and employs her abilities to deactivate it. Just as McBride takes aim at Alfie, severing her connection and causing the robot to explode, Joshua intervenes and eliminates McBride. Guided by Haroon, Joshua leads Alfie to a temple where Maya waits, once Alfie has been tended to. Joshua discovers that Alfie, who was actually their unborn child, was used as the basis for the creation of the AI. With a heavy heart, Joshua decides to end Alfie's life support. Howell and her henchmen arrive at the temple, intending to capture Joshua and Alfie. Haroon intervenes by throwing a bomb at Howell, but Alfie unexpectedly prevents it from detonating. However, Howell's goons mistakenly shoot at her, resulting in all three of them being killed by the bomb. As more enemies approach, Haroon insists that NOMAD must be destroyed to bring an end to the war. Before leaving, droid officers capture Joshua and Alfie. Back in Los Angeles, Andrews commands Joshua to kill Alfie. In a fleeting and heartbreaking moment, they share their final emotions. Joshua eventually pulls the trigger. Meanwhile, news spreads about anti-NOMAD protesters gathering in the streets. Suddenly, the vans transporting Joshua and Alfie lose power and crash. In order to secure their freedom, Joshua and Alfie embark on a lunar shuttle bound for NOMAD. It dawns on Andrews too late that he has been deceived, prompting him to devise a plan to employ NOMAD as a means to eradicate the remaining AI bases. Navigating their way past armed guards, Joshua and Alfie swiftly dispose of them by launching them into the vastness of space. Capitalizing on her unique abilities, Alfie momentarily disables NOMAD's power, allowing Joshua to strategically plant an explosive on one of their missiles. While making their way towards an escape pod, Alfie stumbles upon a room filled with humanoid robot bodies, one of which bears a striking resemblance to Maya. At this critical juncture, Andrews activates a colossal tentacle robot, obstructing Joshua and Alfie's path to freedom. Displaying remarkable resourcefulness, Joshua manages to disable the robot, yet finds himself trapped aboard NOMAD as Alfie is safely ejected. In a poignant moment of farewell, Joshua and Alfie express their profound love for one another before parting ways. As he ventures forth, Joshua encounters the Maya robot, who remarkably recognizes him. As Andrews and his cronies watch on in defeat, the remainder of the strikes come to a halt. Alfie's pod touches down on Earth, where a jubilant atmosphere surrounds the celebration of NOMAD's downfall. A smile spreads across Alfie's face as she takes it all in.